Why do some people do this? Getting into bad debt for something as fast deprecating as a new car is one thing, and then getting a staggering 63% interest just to register, that's another. You're about to watch what happens when you make such a stupid decision as Caleb Hammer exposes the naivete that many loan sharks exploit. Now, while this is not financial advice, I think there's some very important lessons here that I need to tell you about. So subscribe to the channel and take a look at this before we dive in.
So how have you had enough time to be as stupid as this pile of debt suggests? Like, there shouldn't even be enough time in the day to go take out a 63% interest loan. 63%!
Okay, I had no clue about that until
What do you mean you had no clue about that?
I didn't know that that was the interest rate until I sent you all the documents.
What? When'd you get this? How'd you not even know that was before? How did it take sending us the documents?
I don't know.
How long have you had it?
But that's what I want to pay off first.
Well, no. How long have you had it?
I want to say maybe 2 years. And I barely paid anything off.
What could this possibly be for? What is this? Because you only borrowed $2,000, but you're paying $1,000 of interest back from it. What is this possibly for? This is insane.
You're going to love it. Last year, I think it was last year. It was 2022. I went out and bought a brand new 2022 Kia K5. And then I got that loan to do like the registration and all that.
No. Why? So at 18?
Yeah.
From where? Did you walk into like a sketchy place with a bunch of mobsters and be like, yo, I need to pay for my registration?
That's what it sounds like, right? 63% is literally in the realm of loan shark level interest rates, and there's not even an argument like unsecured lending that a creditor can use to justify it. And by the way, that interest rate is calculated as an APR, which means annual percentage rate, so that 63% isn't one time. It only accrues interest the longer that you leave it unattended, and that's true for credit cards as it is for loans like this, because creditors deliberately pay off as little as the principal amount as possible as long as possible, so that minimum payment you think you're comfortable making, you barely even scratch the surface because that payment is actually the minimum money the creditor or bank will take to give you extra time. In other words, it's just interest, not principal. And did she say she got that loan just to register a car and that's been lingering on like this for 2 years? That means she's already nearly paid $3,000 on top of that $2,000 that she borrowed, while the balance still shows a majority of the principal. And honestly, this is the exactly kind of financially naive person that these predatory lenders love. We got some more detail on who that lender was and what kind. Listen to this because I think it speaks to a major problem that many Americans have with bad debt.
Well, that was stupid because I could have paid for it in cash. I don't know why I got that.
No, why did you get that?
A friend told me it was a good idea. I thought it was going to build my credit because I was working really hard to get my credit up to 700, and then now I've completely tanked it.
The majority of Americans are dumb when it comes to personal finances. We're not listening to people.
I figured that out.
Yeah,
but at least I figured it out young.
You figured it out at 18, I know, but you've started to become more educated on personal finances, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Cool. How'd you not know the interest rate of this until you sent it to us?
Well, I would say I became more educated recently, very recently.
Like a week ago?
Yeah. Well, on this. Because I've always just paid the minimum. It's like $200 a month.
Yeah, but you're paying 63.22% on that $2,000.
It's insane. I feel like that should be illegal.
You signed up for it, and when you didn't need to.
I know.
You had cash. So what's still owed now? Oh my gosh. It's up from the original balance. No, now it's technically down, but you made so you're paying $200 a month.
Yes.
What even is this? What company is this? What do we
Sun
even
loan?
call this? Sun loan of death.
I really want to get that paid off like as soon as possible.
Yeah, no, it's not even. You're bringing in $6,500 in the middle of nowhere. You can pay this off today.
Did she say that she got into debt to increase her credit score? As Dave Ramsey would say, that's like going into debt just so you can get into more debt down the line. But there is something else that's wrong here as well. The company she mentioned, Sun Loan, says on their website that taking out credit from them does not impact your credit score. I wonder why that is. Well, it's simple. They're lending to people that don't have a good enough credit history to begin with, because of which they can't get a loan from any formal bank or credit union. Guess what that's called? It's simply subprime lending, with companies charging massive amounts of interest by taking into account the risk that they're taking on for themselves Now, while subprime lending isn't technically illegal because it's two parties entering into a mutually agreed financial decision, a rate of 63% is still some of the most egregious we've seen. She said she's from Oklahoma, and I went over its state consumer credit code to find that Oklahoma does impose caps on how much lenders can charge interest within certain principal brackets. Interest can't be more than $27 for loans up to $2,910. They can't be higher than 23% up to $6,200, or interest above 20% above any amount higher. But the fact that many young people like this woman, or people that don't have a good enough credit history to apply for a traditional bank loan, constitute a major untapped market for these other subprime lending companies. But if someone doesn't know or understand that, they're clearly not a great friend of themselves financially. We gotta know that Caleb asked her why she was financing such expensive cars to begin with.
I went out in October.
Oh my gosh.
And got my dream car. A diesel Jaguar F-Pace. She was beautiful. I miss her so much, but before I could even register into my name, I totaled her.
Why? How? What happened?
I hydroplaned on the interstate coming home from work.
You're going quick.
No, it was raining.
Yeah, no. With the hydroplane, you usually go a little quick.
I mean, I wasn't going too fast. So that's what happened to my Kia. I hit a deer, totaled it. I've had 5 insurance claims in the past 2 years. 4 of them have been on the same road.
Sounds like we need to take a different road.
And have to leave an hour earlier?
Oh, you're right. You're in the middle of nowhere.
I drive on average 700 miles a week.
Why'd you get a Jaguar for a daily commute like that?
Well,
that's stupid as
after I get my insurance money for my old Jaguar, I want to get a work car.
Well, work car? You mean a daily commuter?
Sure.
What is this?
My car.
And why can't this be a work car?
Because I don't want to put too many miles on it.
Why? What is this?
A Jaguar.
You got another Jaguar?
Yes.
Who the are you? You know why you feel behind at your age? Because you're being a dumb piece of with your money.
I know, but
2 Jaguars at 19 and 20?
Mm-hmm.
The Jaguar F-Pace cost nearly $60,000. That's a whole year worth of salary for her if she paid in cash. And just one of her 5 cars at the age of 20?
What the hell is wrong with you people?
Just how much are even her car payments? Because those alone are enough to bankrupt you eventually, let alone loans accruing interest at 60%. Not to mention cars are some of the fastest value losing assets you can buy, because they basically lose a fifth of their market value the moment you drive off the lot. Here's a graph that shows the sharp decline in the first year and then a pretty steep depreciation as the years pass. For someone that understands delayed gratification, you can hold off on making such an expensive purchase and instead get a used car for far less that gets you from A to B.
You got it at 9%, which is a interest rate anyway.
I know, interest rates suck right now.
Yeah, so maybe we don't get Jaguars at 20.
What can I get that would be cheaper than that?
What?
What would be cheaper than that? My Kia was more expensive than that.
What would be cheaper than it?
Mm-hmm.
What would be cheaper than it? A $10,000 car. A $10,000 car that, guess what, would not be luxurious in any way. Might have some issues with the AC, but it would get you. Stop. I'm answering your question.
Okay.
It would be a car that would get you from point A to point B safely for a couple years while you got your mess out of the way, started contributing, catching up on retirement, paid for school, paid off your collections, and then you get your car because you make a lot of money at your age, but you're not doing it right.
That makes sense.
Shh, you're around with your age. That's the car that you would have gotten. That's the car that you should have. You should have nothing else. You're 20. You don't need a Jaguar. You don't need a second Jaguar. We don't need a work car. It's not even a work car because you're not a contractor, so you can't even write it off. It's as a daily commuter.
This entire problem can be summarized by your financial life being tied into a need to keep up with your peers even when you're just starting out, and unfortunately that young age is the worst time to drown yourself in bad debt. And it's a recipe to never being able to make use of money in a way that will let you make more down the line. Let me know in the comments what you learned from this example, because there's certainly a worrying high number of people getting themselves into loads of debt without thinking of its long-term consequences.